across to Sunil Subramaniam. Needs no introduction. Their Sundaram Mutual Fund has got CII and SEBI approval to acquire Principal AMC. Sunil, can you tell us what does this mean? How much of AUMs would come in? By when all the synergy benefits would start to show in the company?
So thank you, Pankaj. So basically, all the approvals we have received, now the exit load free window will be commencing towards the end of this week, and we expect to close the transaction by the end of the month. So the synergies, some of the synergies like the real estate piece will come in straight away. Some of this on the employees, of course, we will be taking a very fair approach to the overall scenario, and I think I would give us 6 months to a year to get the full operational synergies in place. The other things with the advantage in terms of this, the addition of 500,000 customers from Principal to Sundaram stable, which will take our total customer base to 2 million. That's one. Second, it will improve our ranking within the equity and hybrid space, which has been a key focus area for Sundaram from 17 to 15. And I'd like to take this opportunity to mention that while it adds 40 basis points to our overall market share, it brings 3 funds of ours into the top 10 in the industry. So the mid-cap, the larger mid-cap, and the multi-cap fund. All 3 will now be top 10 funds in their respective categories, holding 5% market share each. So these are all big economies of scale which we expect to come to our aid.
Right. In terms of M&A, do you expect activity to pick up because the SIP number is not stopping in, the flows in the markets tend to continue?
Yes, I do think the M&A activity will pick up now because for a new player coming in also, right, to buy an existing franchise. And as we have seen here, Principal being a case, a lot of foreign AMCs have been exiting India in the past for various reasons. And so there could be interesting opportunities in the M&A space happening over the industry because what the industry players have built in terms of scale, I think for others to take advantage of the existing infrastructure makes sense.
In terms of the industry, where do you think the industry is heading in? The mutual fund sahi hai concept by in terms of ads, the sort of financial savings that happening, interest rates being the way they are. Where do you think this industry is headed? We've got 3 listings that's happened earlier. How do you think the industry will evolve or grow faster with this sort of a recognition?
The industry is in a very sweet spot because what has happened thanks partly to the pandemic and thanks also to the fact that consumer surpluses have been increasing, but interest rates have been dropping. So the alternative for a mutual fund investor, the fixed deposit, today if you see a 3-year fixed deposit is fetching you just shy of 6%, and post-tax it will be 4.5% in their hand. So the bar for the mutual industry to get customers to switch from their traditional banking, post office kind of savings to the mutual fund industry, I think is never been better. That's number one. Number two is the fact is that the Indian economy is poised to bounce back very strongly, and hence the fact that domestic economic growth translates to EPS growth of stock market, which translates to mutual fund returns, which then makes it the only asset class capable of consistently beating inflation. I think these 4 factors are coming together, and over the next half a dozen years, you can expect high single-digit growth for the economy, translating into low double-digit growth for the broad stock market, and mutual funds should be able to beat that comfortably over the period. So I think the second is investors who come in will be very happy. The third is you mentioned the campaign, right? I think the AMC campaign allowed the industry 2 things. One, to pool together money so that you could do big ticket advertising. Second, it allowed us to get celebrities like Dhoni and Sachin Tendulkar, everybody to come in because individual AMCs are not allowed to use celebrities. So it helped cut the clutter. And today the whole campaign has also shifted to making sure that the right kind of investments happen for people. It's not just that there's one ad which says that they're not magic funds, but they are mutual funds. Risk and reward goes together. So I think overall the industry has done a very good job in terms of making sure the investors come with the right mindset, and the results are being seen in two places. One is the SIP book has shown almost a 40% rise over the same period last year. Number one. Number two is the kind of support that new NFOs from the mutual fund industry are getting. For the first time this year, we saw 5-digit NFO collections historically from 2 of the AMCs. So I think the shift from physical assets to financial assets, and within financial assets from guaranteed interest bank deposits to the stock market. I think that trend is well established now, and I think the mutual fund industry is poised for a strong double-digit growth over the next decade, I would say. And India's penetration of the stock market, as a percentage of GDP, mutual funds as a percentage of GDP is very, very low compared to even comparable countries like, say, Korea and Taiwan and other geographies, forget the US and the Europe. So I think the industry is on a poised to very high growth mode. And in fact, our acquisition of Principal is not so much from the synergies as the desire to scale up. And I think that's where we expect that today we are at about 43,000 crores Principal plus Sundaram. We think reaching 50,000 crores and then 1 lakh crores in a matter of time, we should be able to scale that. And I think that scale is very important for this industry because the fixed cost industry, it's a high operating leverage. You have branch networks, you have salespeople, you have distribution force. So the greater the scale, the better your economies of scale. So the true synergy will come from the scale which we will achieve in a few years from now.
All right, on that note, Sunil, we leave it at there. Thank you for joining us on the show and talking about